Whittier in Alaska is not all that large, so almost all of its 215 residents live in Begich Towers condominium. The 14-story tower also houses stores, churches, and public utilities. One of the ghosts who calls Begich Towers home is particularly fond of whistling as he strolls through the building, while another is more likely to be heard stomping up and down the stairs. On one occasion, the city manager actually woke up to hear rustling noises in his kitchen, but upon exploration, there was nobody there. Locals say that Begich Towers are at their most frightening in the winter months when heavy snowfall often clogs up the roads, leaving residents unable to leave. Reports say that whenever an infant patient is close to death, mysterious sprites appear in the nursery wing of the Fairbanks Hospital. Nurses from the hospital have suggested that these angels are sent to guide the children to the next life. They are generally perceived to be friendly spirits. Other strange phenomena include plunging temperatures and the sounds of babies crying coming from empty rooms. The Jesse Lee Home for Children is located in Seward and first opened in 1926. In its heyday, there would have been home to hundreds of orphans. However, the property suffered a massive amount of damage in 1964 during an earthquake, and allegedly several of the children were killed. It is these poor children who are now said to haunt the deteriorating property. Those who come to visit the building have reported feelings of dread and despair upon entering the building. It is also common for visitors to hear giggling children, even though none are present. The sound of jump ropes and bouncing balls can often be heard as well. There are often small, shadowy figures seen flitting past the windows as well, seen by those standing outside of the building. The Igloo City Hotel sits abandoned on an isolated stretch of the Parks Highway in Cantwell, Alaska. It's distinctive in that it's shaped just like an igloo. It was built back in the 1970s, but the 4-story structure was never completed. It's not exactly clear why. Perhaps it failed to meet building codes, or maybe the developers simply ran out of money. Whatever the reason, it ended up being abandoned and left to weather the harsh Alaskan elements. It's now alleged to be haunted, with many reports of seeing strange lights come from inside the structure. There are also regular reports of a woman in white looking out one of the windows. The Wendy Williamson Auditorium is just over 40 years old, so it is certainly not particularly old. However, that does not mean that it hasn't gotten more than its fair share of ghosts. There is one particular spirit who is said to be a fairly angry male with a dislike for brunettes. Women who have long brown hair are often pushed by this unseen presence. There have also been reports of a woman in white appearing during a performance, and at first, the audience assumed she was part of the show. That is, until she disappeared. Some reports also refer to giggling children and a teenage boy haunting the building. Everyone remembers Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter, right? The teenage schoolgirl doomed to haunt the school bathroom where she died? Well, Nightmute High School in Alaska has its very own version of the fictional ghost. A little girl is said to haunt the school's bathrooms, and she is known to flush toilets and flick the lights on and off. However, unlike Moaning Myrtle, she isn't confined to the bathroom. She's also been heard wandering around the school humming, and she often plays with basketballs if they are left unattended in the gym. Unfortunately, nobody is actually sure who this ghost girl is, but a grave was discovered underneath room number 106, which might explain the origin of the hauntings of Nightmute High School. When it comes to spooky tales about Alaskan ghosts, one of the most well-known stories is regarding a tragic axe accident. The story goes that a 5-year-old girl was helping her father chop wood out in the woods to bring back to the cabin where her mother and younger sister were waiting. The dad is said to have embedded the axe into a tree to make sure the child did not fall on it. But when he turned his back, she decided to try and impress her daddy by pulling the axe out and chopping some wood on her own. However, Her plan went horribly wrong, and she ended up pulling the axe down on her own head, killing her instantly. Her father was understandably distraught and refused to leave his poor girl alone in the woods. He sat out there in the woods, cradling her lifeless body through the winter, eventually dying of hypothermia. It is now alleged that if you drive down Bardaka Road in Chugiak at around 3:30 a.m., you may see the man cradling the corpse of his daughter sitting by the roadside. The Red Onion Saloon in Skagway was originally a brothel, but it has served various purposes over the years, including army barracks, a bakery, a laundry, a union hall, a gift shop, and a television studio. These days, you can take a guided tour of the property with tour guides dressed as madams of the era. It really is like taking a step back into the height of the gold rush. The Red Onion Saloon had a unique way of doing business. The first floor was the bar area, and the upper floor had 10 rooms where the ladies could entertain their guests. Down in the bar, there were 10 dolls, each representing the working girls. If the doll was laid flat on her back, it meant the girl was occupied. And if it was sitting upright, it meant that she was available. In terms of paranormal activity, one of the most prominent ghosts that are said to call the Red Onion Saloon home is a female spirit known as Lydia. It's believed that Lydia was one of the prostitutes that once worked at the brothel. Her footsteps are often felt on the second floor where the brothel used to operate, and visitors could also report a strong scent of perfume and unusual cold spots. Lydia has also been seen as a full-body apparition walking around in the madam's room and sometimes running down the hall. Strangely enough, Lydia is also said to water the plants, and often the hostesses will come in and find the soil in the pots is damp. On occasion, Lydia is also said to behave very aggressively towards men. Just off the coast of Alaska lies one of the most haunted locations in the state. The Eldred Rock Lighthouse is the oldest original lighthouse in Alaska, having been born out of a list of tragic shipwrecks in the area. One of the most notorious of all shipwrecks was the Clara Nevada steamship. In 1898, she ran aground on Eldred Rock, bursting into flames and plunging to the canal's icy depths. The disaster claimed 75 lives, and it's also believed that hundreds of pounds of gold were on board when it sank, never to be recovered. It's the souls of these unfortunate passengers and sailors of the Clara Nevada and other countless shipwrecks that are believed to haunt the island and the surrounding waters to this day. Dating back to 1916, the historic Anchorage Hotel is a charming landmark with a dark side. Guests and staff have reported encounters with apparitions, mysterious whispers, and unexplained footsteps. Room 202 is particularly notorious for its paranormal activity, with some claiming to have seen the ghost of a woman in period clothing. Thank you for making your way through the video. If you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button and give me your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, until next time.